What if Antarctica isn't just a frozen wasteland? A desolate expanse of white stretching endlessly toward the horizon? What if this remote, inhospitable continent is something far more profound? Imagine for a moment that beneath its miles-thick armor of ice, it guards secrets that humanity was never meant to uncover. This is not a land of mere snow and silence. It is a place of profound mystery, a continent that challenges our understanding of history, biology, and our place in the universe. It is the coldest, driest, and highest continent, a place so extreme that human presence is fleeting and fragile. But this perception is beginning to shatter, piece by icy piece. Strange, elongated skulls, a glacier that appears to bleed, and the skeleton of a creature so bizarre that it matches no known species on Earth. These are not isolated curiosities. They are pieces of a much larger, more bewildering puzzle. The question is no longer if something is hidden there, but what it is. Antarctica is a continent of superlatives. Covering an area of over 14 million square kilometers, it is larger than the entire United States and Mexico combined. Nearly 98% of it is covered by the Antarctic ice sheet, a colossal body of ice reaching up to 5 kilometers thick in places, concealing entire mountain ranges, concealing vast subglacial lakes, a world hidden beneath a world. No single official time zone, a continent without a country. In this vast expanse, there are no cities or towns, only 2 ATMs across the entire continent, the coldest temperature ever recorded, minus 89.2 degrees Celsius at Vostok Station. This extreme environment is a perfect preserver of secrets, and beneath this frozen giant, scientists keep stumbling upon discoveries that sound more like science fiction than reality. The deep freeze acts like a natural cryopreservation chamber, a pristine window into Earth's deep history. Antarctica is the world's premier meteorite hunting ground. The stark white landscape makes dark space rocks easy to spot. The past isn't gone, it's frozen, waiting to be thawed. This is the stage upon which the continent's greatest mysteries unfold, a chronicle of the real scientific discoveries that are forcing us to reconsider everything we know. The year was 2009. And a team of researchers was carefully combing the rocky, windswept terrain of Seymour Island. A fossil hunter's paradise, a rare window into the continent's distant past. What they found that day was a single fragment of a jawbone, small and unassuming, but it held a secret that was millions of years old. But as the paleontologists examined it more closely, a sense of confusion began to set in. Its features were unlike anything they had ever seen from this part of the world. It was a biological paradox, a fossil that seemed to defy the known rules of animal distribution. As scientists delved deeper into the analysis, the shocking reality of their discovery became clear. This was not just any mammal, it was a monotreme. Monotremes are an exceptionally rare and ancient order of mammals, famous for one bizarre trait: they lay eggs. This shattered the belief monotremes were only Australian. It provided first physical evidence they lived on other parts of Gondwana. This creature was a survivor, likely living in the last coastal forests as the world froze. The discovery opened a new realm of paleontological possibility. It proved our picture was incomplete, but that was just the first clue that Antarctica might be hiding creatures far stranger than we imagined. And soon, discoveries would emerge that were not just about ancient animals, but about our own species. Just a few years after the revelation of the egg-laying cat, another discovery emerged. In 2014, reports began to circulate about a finding that seemed to completely rewrite the timeline of human presence. A team of archaeologists allegedly unearthed something that should not have been there: human skulls. The skulls were not just remarkable for their location. Their physical characteristics were deeply perplexing. They were described as being distinctly elongated. This feature drew comparisons to other mysterious archaeological finds, most notably Peru. The idea that skulls with this same unusual feature were found in Antarctica suggested a mind-boggling possibility: a shared global culture. Proponents point to old enigmatic maps like the Piri Reis map. They argue this is evidence of a lost source of ancient knowledge. However, the story of the skulls is shrouded in as much mystery as the objects themselves. Mainstream archaeological institutions and Antarctic research programs had no record of a Dr. Damien Waters. For some, it was proof of a cover-up, a deliberate attempt by the academic establishment to suppress a discovery. Without the actual Antarctic skulls to study, the proposed link remains a tantalizing but unproven hypothesis, a ghost story whispered between the established facts of history. While the mystery of human presence remains a contentious debate, another type of visitor has been arriving on the continent for eons, from another world entirely. Antarctica is the single greatest place on Earth to find these cosmic travelers, a paradise for those who hunt for treasures from beyond. The ice acts like a giant conveyor belt, concentrating meteorites into stranding surfaces, where scientists harvest rocks from vast areas and timescales, all in one place. Among the tens of thousands of space rocks, one in particular stands out: Allen Hills 84001, or ALH 84001. About 17 million years ago, a massive asteroid or comet slammed into Mars. It plunged through our atmosphere, landing in the Allen Hills region. They claimed that this humble rock contained evidence suggesting the existence of ancient primitive life on the red planet. The announcement was met with immense excitement and intense skepticism. Other scientists offered alternative, non-biological explanations. This fueled a powerful theory known as panspermia, the hypothesis that life is distributed by meteorites. But while space rocks rained down from above, a very different kind of history was unfolding on the ground below. For massive creatures once roamed this land when it was not a world of ice, but a world of green. Long before the first snowflake fell, Antarctica was a vibrant and dynamic world teeming with life. This was Antarctica during the Mesozoic era, the age of dinosaurs. Paleontologists have been unearthing the remains of these incredible beasts from the few exposed rock formations that poke through the ice. Among the most significant finds was Cryolophosaurus ellioti. It was a true polar predator, a creature adapted to a world of seasonal extremes including months of continuous winter darkness. Fossils of long-necked plant-eating sauropods have also been found, confirming that these colossal herbivores were part of the Antarctic landscape. Its surrounding waters were a hunting ground for some of the most formidable marine reptiles. At the top of the food chain were colossal predators that make today's great white sharks look modest. The fossil was almost complete, one of the last of its kind after a lineage of over 100 million years. A temperate, swampy rainforest thrived at a latitude of 82 degrees south, a forest that would have endured a 4-month-long polar night every single winter. These final generations of Antarctic dinosaurs were living on borrowed time. The rich forests of Antarctica would have withered and died, and the colossal animals that depended on them would have starved. And yet, even in today's icy wasteland, nature finds terrifying ways to reveal its secrets. This is the spectacle of Blood Falls, one of Antarctica's most visually stunning and deeply mysterious natural wonders. It appears as though the glacier itself has a wound and is slowly bleeding out onto the frozen landscape. For over a century, this macabre feature has baffled and intrigued scientists. Early explorers suspected red algae, but when samples were analyzed, no algae were found. The source of Blood Falls is a subglacial lake, a body of water trapped beneath the glacier for at least 1.5 million years. The water is extraordinarily rich in iron. When it comes into contact with the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, the iron rapidly oxidizes, or rusts, turning the water a deep crimson color. The mystery of the color was solved. Antarctica wasn't bleeding, it was rusting. Just when the mystery of Blood Falls seemed to be solved, scientists made an even more astonishing discovery. The water was teeming with life. They have evolved to survive in a world without sunlight. They effectively breathe iron and eat sulfur compounds. This discovery has had a revolutionary impact on the field of astrobiology. If life can find a way to thrive under an Antarctic glacier, then it is plausible that similar life could exist on other worlds. But Antarctica isn't just icy. It also hides a place so extreme and so alien that it has seen no water at all for millions of years. These are the McMurdo Dry Valleys, the largest ice-free region in Antarctica, the driest place on Earth. Powerful katabatic winds can reach speeds of over 320 kilometers per hour. evaporating any moisture before it can ever reach the ground. Scattered across the valley floors are the mummified remains of seals, a gallery of natural mummies perfectly preserved by the cold, dry air. The combination of extreme cold, intense dryness, and high levels of ultraviolet radiation makes the dry valleys the closest terrestrial analog to the surface of Mars. Because of this striking resemblance, NASA has used the dry valleys as a testing ground. It was a dress rehearsal for Mars exploration conducted on Earth. While the surface appears sterile, scientists have discovered that life does exist here, but it is hidden inside the porous rocks. But even this Martian landscape does not compare to the most terrifying discovery of all. Buried deep in the ice, far from the wind-scoured rocks. Of all the secrets Antarctica has surrendered, none are as profoundly unsettling as the one allegedly found deep within the ice sheet itself. While boring deep into the continental ice, reportedly at around 1,100 feet, the team's equipment encountered an unexpected object. It was the remarkably well-preserved remains of a large creature, encased in ancient ice like an insect in amber. The creature was said to be large, with a skeletal frame measuring approximately 8 feet in length. Most disturbing were sharp, protruding bones. This anatomy defied classification. It matches no known animal, living or extinct. The skull was just as strange, more bestial, yet with a cranial capacity suggesting intelligence. A monster from a nightmare. The conspiracy? Evidence exists. The results were so shocking, so unexplainable, so dangerous, they were suppressed by a shadowy authority. To this day, the story of the unidentified skeleton remains, in a gray area between documented fact and unsubstantiated rumor. And that raises a question. How much do we truly know about what's hidden beneath Antarctica's endless, unforgiving ice? We have found the remains of creatures that should not exist, confronted the unnerving possibility of a forgotten human history, found tantalizing, controversial hints of life beyond Earth. How can a continent be home to the driest place on Earth, and also hide more than 400 subglacial lakes of liquid water? The discoveries of the past few decades are likely just the prelude, the opening act in a much larger drama. And so we are left on the edge of the abyss, staring into the frozen heart of the world's greatest mystery. If this is what has been found so far, what else could be waiting beneath Antarctica's frozen surface? The final chapter of Antarctica's secrets has not yet been written. It is waiting for us, locked in the ice, silent and patient, at the very bottom of the world.